Well, congratulations on the sequel, Five Nights at
Thank
Freddy's 2,
you.
which is really exciting. But before we dive all into that, and I don't think I've ever asked you this question, but it's sort of my favorite way to kick things off, which is, and it doesn't have to be an exact moment, but do you remember the first time that oh,
Here
cutie.
she comes.
Um, I got distracted. I love the animals. Do you remember the first time that it clicked for you how magical and powerful storytelling can be to connect, to create empathy, to educate, that it's more than just something we watch or something that's fun to do?
Yeah, I mean, I keep having that experience over and over again. Because recently I did a play at Williamstown, and it was about, it's not about prison reform by any means, but it is set in a prison, like in 1930, and based on a true story of all this horrific treatment that was going on. And we did a Q&A with someone who was fighting for prisoners in the current time, current
Wow.
day. And I was like, gosh, this problem doesn't go away. And suddenly, like the play came alive for me in a way it hadn't, which is, oh, that's where it was a reminder, that thing that you're talking about, which is this is important. Sometimes like we're doing something frivolous, we're pretending to be other people. And that's true. Like it's not, brain surgery, but it can be really powerful and impactful. And I think the first time I felt it, I went to a high school production of Les Miserables, and I was just weeping, and I was young, and I thought, oh, I mean, I immediately thought I want to do that. I want to be up there. But I also remember thinking, I mean, I clearly needed some kind of cathartic release. I don't think I had the words or the understanding for it, but I needed it and I wanted it. And I was like, what are these people doing? I want to be a part of it.
I totally get that. I had the same feeling, but mine was watching Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, sweet.
But it was like, regional theater back
Mhm.
home in Rhode Island, and it was that same thing where you're just you get these butterflies inside your body that don't really have any place to go, and you don't have the tools yet at that age to really maybe say exactly what you're experiencing, but you feel it. You feel that magic, and you're being educated. I mean, it's like we're both talking about historical kind of musicals in a way
Mhm.
too, and it sort of sparks all of this need and want to like create and to understand and to
Mhm.
empathize. And yeah, I think that we forget that sometimes, as consumers of art, as makers of art, how powerful it can be, how it can be a form of activism, small or big, because what we watch, it seeps into our little brains, even if it's like so fluffy, or it still like makes an impact on how we're kind of wired.
Yeah, well, sometimes you need a little fluffy. I know.
Sometimes you do.
I know I do.
There ain't nothing wrong with fluff, baby. We love all of it. Okay, so you're returning as Vanessa Shelley in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Um, okay, how does it feel to emotionally return to a character? It's not your first time returning to a character, but I'm just curious how your process changes since you're kind of adding on to the history of a character. You're diving deeper rather than kind of learning for the first time.
Yeah, I think when I return to something, I become like really, I don't want to say protective as if,
Mm.
I'm not willing to like bend or shift. But I noticed also like when I was returning to Beck from you in the fifth season when, it's kind of the final like coming to justice era, I felt really, and I didn't expect this. I was like, wow, I'm so happy for her for getting some form of justice, or for the man not winning out.
Hmm.
And with Five Nights at Freddy's, I do feel like in this second film, we're delving much deeper into Vanessa. She was kind of like this weird enigma who just popped up and then has this deep attachment to Freddy's and to her father, and is she's really being controlled and has quite the traumatic experience. But so I do feel somewhat, I get like the more and more I play a role, the more and more attached I become and protective I become and hopeful. Like just it's just like anything, if you keep like putting your heart into it, it starts to stay in there in a deeper, more meaningful way.
Absolutely. 100%. That makes total sense to me. And I think I've heard a lot of creatives talk about sort of TV in that way of it being a platform to be able to return and to continually grow with a character and to dive deeper as you're speaking to. And I would imagine that it's similar with a sequel when you get to sort of revisit a character in a different way, same but different. As you mentioned, we're getting way more of her past in this one. We're getting way more of um that darkness and like hopefully a healing process, which um must have been kind of a fun challenge to embark on.
Yeah, it's also great because you're working, at least with Five Nights at Freddy's, I'm working with some of the same actors like Josh and Piper and Matthew Lillard, who plays my dad. And you already have like personal actor to actor, person to person
Mm-hmm.
experience and connection. And you've already lived. I mean, this is where like acting gets a little woo-woo, but it's like your body has already experienced something that we did in the first movie, and it gets triggered again
Mm-hmm.
when, everyone's in costume and the lights are there and all the relationship stuff is there. So that's always exciting too. It's like, oh, you like can more easily flow into things as well.
Absolutely. And you're working with your same director,
Yes, Emma,
Emma.
your door.
Yes.
Thank
And I
God
want
for Emma.
to,
We're not
yes,
time
a
lost. She's
hundred
like,
percent. Yeah. I mean, I want to talk about that for a second because I feel like the progress of equality behind the camera has sadly slowed. True. I mean, are we surprised?
no,
Maybe
yeah,
not.
you could see that in my face. Is like, are we shocked? No, but I don't want to be negative Nancy about it either.
I know. It's like, I think it's for me, it's more like having that aha moment of, I have to keep talking about this. Like, it's not, I feel like hopeful because there are so many incredible, it's, it's a different landscape. And I feel like it just needs to be discussed. It's obviously we're not done fighting for it, I guess is more the tone.
Yeah.
We're hopeful. We're going to be hopeful, but we're going to continue to fight. And I think that um, I would just love to know sort of returning for this sequel, knowing that you had to go to the places emotionally that you had to go. What made you feel grateful that it was Emma leading the charge when navigating Vanessa's emotional complexities and all those layers?
Yeah, well, like what I was saying about the actors is you already have a rapport. We already have a personal relationship on top of a professional relationship. And so it's always good for me to feel like I could ask anything, even that, and nothing's a stupid question.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
acting is sometimes embarrassing, and you're like, I don't understand what it is. And and you need to be you want to direct, and a director is really like creating the narrative, so you really need to feel, and you're not watching yourself, so you don't really know like if anything is worthwhile or telling the story because you're doing your best to be present in the moment. So I'll do a scene and be like, interested? To Emma, I'll be like, are we are what's I don't know what's happening. Um,
You're like, I blacked out.
Exactly. Like, I mean, hopefully. And if I do know what's happening, then I'm like, oh, we're in a dark place. But yeah, so I'm very grateful to Emma because she just on top of being like a wonderful, beautiful person, she's incredibly skilled at what she does. And when I saw this movie, I texted her immediately. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm amazed by you. I'm the truly like what she's able to take from the page and then create and in the images and the story. And she created this wonderful pace and the jump scares. And then there's still, like an emotional center to the film. Like it is not easy to make a movie. It is just not an easy thing to do. So, and my piece of it is so small and was done ages ago. And then she takes it and like clay makes it into this whole incredible thing. So she's just incredibly talented and I admire her so much.
I love that. And I think too, um, it sounds like she has incredible instincts. She's so well read. She has so much knowledge of this universe,
Like
of
the
the
lore,
game, of
yeah.
the animatronics. She's so passionate about it, but so knowledgeable. And she comes with that. She comes with all that knowledge and certainty, but it sounds like she then allows for the play to happen. And I think that that combination of assertiveness, but also room for growth is just the perfect combination in whatever genre you're working in whatever capacity.
Yeah. She also often lets us do what we want to an extent. She'll give you like, here's a take for you, or she'll keep it running. And, Matthew and I, we can just do a series of takes together, or, he's like screaming something at me and I'm reacting to that or whatever it is. But and that's why she's so magical because her ability to like cobble together all the different options that you could use to create a story is just for me it's like I've not directed a movie yet and I find it miraculous.
Yes. Do you want to
Yeah,
direct?
I just don't want to limit myself. So I think that's
Mm.
why I say it that way because obviously I love film, I love theater, I have opinions. People have opinions. Now, I prefer acting, but I would never, if the opportunity ever came, I would never want, or if I really had a story to tell, I would never want to limit myself.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. No, absolutely. I mean, I'd love to see you direct. I'd love to see you do it all. Have you, and I'm so sorry that I did not research this and I should have you ever produced?
No.
Could be a nice starting point.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like,
For your
making
opinion,
sure
you can
your
just
team's like that. Yeah.
I can just,
That's a nice way to like dabble into the behind the scenes
yeah,
to exert, like to kind of have those opinions and to advocate for yourself and your castmates to then build up that confidence to direct.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. We're putting it into the universe.
Why not? Why
Yeah.
not? Um, I also what I love about this sequel also is the sort of dream aspects to it, which always fascinate me as someone who has awful dreams. And so I was just curious what your relationship to sort of dreams. I'm sorry if this is personal, but I'm curious what your relationship to dreams was before sort of exploring it so deeply in this film and after, and if you've ever dreamed, do you ever dream in your characters?
Mm. I don't think I've ever dreamed it in my character. I've certainly dreamed of other characters though.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like it's
I
just
do.
like Josh's character or Piper's character or Matthew, those characters, not even them as the actor, or maybe some weird combination, have represented something to me in a dream.
Hmm.
I never see myself in dreams. I'm always like in POV.
Hmm.
there's no point of view.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a big believer in, and I think it's like a Jungian theory that everyone in your dream is you or a part of you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's like even the location, like everything represents a part of you, and it's your subconscious trying to work through something or reveal something to you. Like I believe in them very deeply, and I write them down, and I'm like, what is happening with me?
Oh, it's so
Sometimes it's
fascinating. I
very,
really like that theory. It makes me feel less psychotic about my own dreams.
yeah.
And
Well,
so
people like life is only experienced through you. Even your ideas of people, everything is projected through like your brain and your experience.
right.
So even that person who is like coming in your dream or the house or whatever, it's something that you've co-created with them, but primarily you've created like your point of view of them.
Whoa, you're sort of blowing my mind right now. But that makes it makes total sense.
Yeah, because people always say you
Wow.
must be in love with him, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
no.
He's a representation of something that my brain is processing.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that makes no, because it's true. It's like dreams are so convoluted and weird. My husband will always tell me if he has a dream, and it's usually very like basic. He's a very creative guy, but his dreams are just like not as nightmarish as mine. And then I'll say,
yeah,
"Well, I had a dream last night," and I proceed to tell him, and the look on his face is always like, "Are you okay?"
yeah, yeah. Are you? Well, I
I'm like,
mean, I
I think
think
I'm processing a lot is the point. And like
yeah.
yeah, wow. Well,
Well, and if you're not processing, in your day-to-day life or communicating something, or like, I know for me, I don't have easy access to anger. So it's
mm,
got to come out somewhere. If that's,
ooh. Like
I
what you're not processing, yes, what you're not processing during the day is coming out at
it's
night,
gonna come out, which is
which is
honestly
great
like
for
the magic.
Freddy's.
Yeah. Yes. And that's Vanessa to a key. She's not, there's no real way to process that kind of trauma.
Right.
She's controlled by her father, like
Hmm.
witnessing murders, complicit to murders for the majority of her childhood and into her adulthood. So
Yeah.
I don't think she's not
There's no
processed.
magic. There's no magic cure
No, no.
for that.
He's so deep in her head.
Oof.
And she is fighting against it and is doing her best to kind of make amends, I think, in her actions by helping Mike or
Hmm.
helping Abby. Um, but again, I think that has a lot to do with her trying to be good, be
Right.
better.
Right. And what does it even mean to be good? We all have darkness and light in us.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what's so beautiful about, or what I love about the horror genre is that
Mhm.
it really, because on the surface it's monsters, it's demons, but it allows for this metaphorical meatiness, and the monsters being allegorical and the demons being allegorical, and it just really allows to eliminate a lot of shame, I think, in a lot of ways the genre can do.
I
Um,
hope so.
mhm.
I mean, that would be ideal.
Yeah, I think so too. And how has your like working in the genre,
Mhm.
how has your possibilities of sort of it or your affinity for it changed or grown um over the course of your career? I mean,
Yeah.
seeing something like this sequel and seeing how it's put together and like,
What's funny What's funny about me is that I'm like a real scaredy cat. I'm just a very sensitive being. And so I'm very gullible, and like the tiniest suggestion of fear really works on me. And we had to walk through like Universal Five Nights at Freddy's themed haunted house. And I knew people were gonna, it's like, people are gonna jump out at you, but it's like the fear is really, it's always been there. I've always had it, every horror film I've ever seen. I'm like
Mhm.
closing my ears. And what was funny about this film is I was doing ADR for it, which is where you're like if the sound is bad, the actors go in and we see like the scene on the screen, and I would be like jumping during,
At
you know,
yourself.
like I'd have, Emma's in there with me, and that's the first time you really see anything, and it's not done, but like I've got my headphones on, ready to say my line, and then I'll be like, ah. Which I think delighted them. She was like, "Oh, good, it's working." This is, uh, I hadn't seen the film, but just that. Yeah, so I don't know. I think I've always been afraid. I continue to be afraid. I love what you said though about horror films being, a metaphor for our shadow selves to a certain degree. And my appreciation for the genre, I think the more I work in it, the greater that becomes.
Mhm.
Um, because, like I said, because it's not an easy thing to do. And what I love about our films is I say this, to some people, they're like, "Oh, can I bring my kids?" And I'm like, I actually think you can,
Mhm.
because this is almost to me intro to horror.
Mhm.
Like I mean, the game already was kind of that young
Mhm.
people feeling that kind of fear or stress playing the game. And I think the films are the same. This one is I would say, a little bit scarier than the first, and the themes are dark, obviously. The themes are very dark, and you might want to have a conversation with your kids. But
Hey,
I,
but that's great. I love when
I
things
would
lead
say,
to
like 10 and
conversation.
above, it would be a great first horror film as opposed to something like The Exorcist, where my first film was one of the exorcism movies, and I couldn't sleep at night. I'd be laying there being like, I'm gonna get possessed by a demon any moment.
I know. See, I feel like we're very similar in that, like, I had two older brothers, so I would always like sneak behind the couch and like peek a lot at movies, and I wasn't getting the full. See, that's where I think on the surface horror, and like, of course, there's so many subgenres, kind of what you're speaking to. There's mini horrors, there's like horror thrillers, there's super bloody. It's just there's so much, which is what makes the genre kind of really magical, and where I think there is a place for everybody to just you just have to find it. But without like it, you really need the context with
Yes.
with horror, because when you just see things out of context, it can be really traumatizing, especially if you are so young. But if you have the context, you actually go, whoa. Or if ever you've seen something when you're little and maybe you were like, you kind of ran away from it because you got so scared, or you accidentally saw it and then you revisit it as an adult, even though you're so nervous to revisit it, and you watch it and you go, oh my gosh, this they were exploring this theme, and like
Hmm.
this, and then it sort of eliminates the fear a little bit, and
Yeah.
it eliminates a little bit of that anxiety because you're sort of seeing the deeper meaning wrapped in the scares, which
Yeah.
is kind of an interesting process. But yeah, anyways,
And
well,
our film, it like does a, sorry, I was just gonna say
no,
it
no,
does a
please.
great job for people, I feel, because like I said, I'm a scaredy cat, but because I know the likelihood of me running into a giant animatronic is very low, that it doesn't, it's one of those films like you could return to again and again. And I think people do, they watch it again and again because you can have the scares, you can have the thrill, you can see all the lore and the
Mhm.
Easter eggs without, having the rest of your evening being taken over by fear.
Exactly. And I should mention, I mean, the animatronics in this one, three times as many.
Amazing and scary, scary for
Oh,
me. But
I mean,
I
the
fight
art,
that in real time, real life.
Yeah, you're seeing them. That's what's like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
seeing how the sausage is made, but you're
Yeah.
also,
But the
it's a,
fear is still there. That's the
yeah, no CGI on that. You're just like,
no. I was so when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, that I have this one scene with Mangle and in the
mm,
car, and I was like, oh my gosh, that turned out so well because it takes forever, and you do it practically, and then you do it on the stage, and it's truly like riding a ride.
mm.
But then you have like giant animatronic arms coming at but then you're like fighting a giant puppet. Anyways, it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's
It
really
is amazing.
they should make it into a ride. I
They
need to
should.
watching Universal. I was like, I the Five Nights at Freddy's ride is ready to go in
You
this film.
pitched it. Look, you're already producing.
Yes.
Come on now, get the credit. You're doing it. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Well, Elizabeth, I could talk to you truly forever. I don't want to take up too much of your time. This has been such a treat, and you're so immensely talented, and I'm excited for people to see this sequel and to see um, just how much deeper that your character dives into in this one. And yeah, you're remarkable, and and a joy to talk to. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.